All right, so the next thing we want on that dashboard is something that highlights the 24-hour volume for the day. So just a little card that just gives you a summary of what the last, like what today's 24-hour volume is, and then a chart for the past couple of days' 24-hour volume. And I did the same thing I did with price, where I went in and I just changed some of these numbers around. So you can just change them right here in Google Sheets, like just like you did with the price. I just changed a couple different numbers just to give it some spice and something interesting, right? And now we can use that data to push forward and make a chart. So one sort of life hack that we can do for ourselves, let's go ahead and we're just going to copy this chart. So just copy and paste actually, and then we will actually have this, but then we're going to just sort of slide it below this and put it like over here. And we're going to change a couple of things about this, but this gives us like a template so we don't have to work as hard with building a new chart from scratch. We already have some configuration that we like, and it's all kind of set up. The only thing we have to do is change pretty much one value. So let's go in here and find our 24-hour volume, and we'll add in as the dimension. All right, cool. All right, so there's your volume 24 hours. That's a sum. But see that one day where it says 3 billion? That's because we have multiple logs on one day, so it's getting the sum. So let's do the max. Okay, and then it'll say the volume traded will be at 1.5 billion rounded up for that entire time period, right? So let's go ahead and make sure that this is a numeric to currency. Let's put it in dollars. So $1.5 billion. Great. Let's go ahead and change this to say 24-hour volume of Doge. So that reads a little bit better. And then there's not a lot of variation here because all of our data is kind of around this same spectrum, but this one should be showing up, and a couple other it should be a little bit lower. It shouldn't be stuck just at 1.5. So let's see if we can get the numbers here to be a little bit more like specific instead of just rounding in a certain direction, which is kind of weird. And the reason why that was happening, which I just looked real quick, is that we had not refreshed our data, and I had just made those changes. Just go to view and refresh your data, and now we see all those numbers are in there reflecting exactly as we want. The only thing we have that's a little bit interesting is the labels. So what we can do is we can maybe take our number down to like 10, so that way the number of bars is being shown as only 10, and that way the labels will always fit in here really nicely because they'll just have the last like 10 days in there. And we can kind of crush this down and maybe move this up a little bit with its label. I think we can get right in below that. And I'm going to copy and paste this text box over. And if I can ever copy and paste it. Here we go. Let's put this right here. So we'll say Doge 24-hour volume past 10 days, right? And with this, let's make sure that we have this sorted so that way we're getting the most recent over here on the front, which it looks like we might not be getting that. Descending. Yep. We are not getting that. So the way we can fix this problem real quick is we can set a custom date filter so that way we see the last 10 days. So if you on this chart just go to the date and then you got to click on custom and then hit this button right here. It gives you all these options, but you're going to want to go to advanced. And what we'll do is we'll actually just do a query where we start 10 days ago and end on our current day. So we'll say start date today minus 10 days. And so we'll start on the 21st and end on the 30th. So actually we can do something where we say today plus 0 days or something like that. There we go. And then we'll apply it. And then it should show us pretty up to date. We might have to change this a little bit so that way it is showing us like it's kind of not showing the 31st, and I don't know why, because it says that it should be. Well, let's do plus, and we still don't get it, but that's okay. We can go over here to style and see if we can squeeze another one out of it. Yeah, so if we make it 11 days, then, or 11 bars, then we're good to go. We can turn it down to 10. Let's see if maybe my sort, let's see, descending, ascending. Yep. It just doesn't quite want to let you have the 31st. So what we can do though, is we can just change this to 11 and we can just pretend nobody notices, right? So there's some things about Google Data Studio that aren't quite all the way where I would like them to be personally. Just things like this where, and maybe it's me, but I thought that that query was pretty good to be able to do the past 10 days, but that's all right. And we can also do that here as well on our top chart. And this is a good thing to set. So let's do custom date range, advanced, and they'll do today minus 15. And this will actually be an interesting test to see if it'll show the 31st on this chart. And it does, and I don't know why. I think the amount of bars in the chart, sometimes it's like we don't care if you wanted your value all the way on the right to be the 31st. We're not going to give it to you unless you give me more bars, but that's okay because we're still accomplishing what we want. So, all right, cool. So now we have this right here and this down here, and let's actually pick an alternate color for this because I don't like having two bar charts be like the same color. So we'll see if we can get something that's just a little bit cleaner, and maybe not your white right here. Let me see if I can grab another colorful hue through here that's not mustard. Okay, that's a nice little offset. Okay, now let's go ahead and add in a scorecard. We're just gonna do a scorecard, and this is literally just gonna show us, let me copy and paste this so I can give it a label. And we'll say I don't need to have it be all caps. So we'll say Doge 24-hour volume today. I'll center that nice and neat. And then we have this horrible looking thing right here, which we'll clean up. Let's center it, hide the metric name, and then we're going to make this really large number. Okay. And so right now it's giving us a sum of price, but we're going to want 24-hour volume for today. So let's say the metric is 24-hour volume. Okay, and this is the sum. So let's make it be the max, so that way we have 24-hour volume. And then we'll go to style. Let's do compact numbers. So it's like 5.7.7 bill. And we can even give us some more decimal points if we want. So we can expand that out. That's fine. Let's do that. And we will make this a neat little square. Let's give it a background color of one of the Doge highlight colors. Let's do that one's kind of too light, but aesthetics are important for your stuff, so don't waste time on design. So that's fine with me to do it like that for the aesthetics anyways. And yeah, it looks fine. I'm gonna kind of scoot that center with that and move this down a little bit. These things are kind of hard to move unless you grab them right on the edge. So we have this, And what we need to do now is we need to custom filter this to be always today. So we'll say today, and this will just be that preset item here. So this says that it has no data for today, but I'm pretty sure we do. So stand by while we figure that out. And just to make sure I went verified in the data that yes, we do have a value for today for volume 24 hours. And so I changed this again and it worked, and it came up with the, it did not come up with the correct figure because we should be looking at like 1.5 billion. And it's saying 57 billion. So this is something's off with this, and we're going to figure this out. So a lot of this dashboard building is a lot of like debugging of your data in real time. So all of these little kinks that we're running to are going to be really helpful for you to know sort of how to problem solve to fix these types of things. So debugging this, I figured out exactly what we have going on. So this is super useful. So when you do a chart like this and you're filtering a data set, don't forget to add that filter. So we had that Doge filter, and I forgot to apply it. So you have to apply it to everything in the chart, or else you're getting that sum of like everything that's in your data set. So super crazy, right? Also, I had the date added as the date, and that's the date that the cryptocurrency was added to CoinMarketCap, not the date that the price was added. So I put in last updated. I got my volume 24 hours. I've got my max there. I've got my custom date range. I'm going to set that, and that is today. I'll apply that, and it doesn't like that. So we're going to be back in the sauce real quick to figure out what the deal is. Let me do 2 days and see if it doesn't like that. Data Studio cannot connect to your data set. The underlying data has changed. Oh, I think I know what I did. I think I put in the wrong last updated field. Stand by, let's check on that. So all I did to fix that and to get the correct number of 1.49 billion is I just deleted that other scorecard chart and just reloaded another one and just reconfigured it kind of the same way. I just had to change the date field, and that was pretty much it. Sometimes stuff happens like that. So if your data source ever gets broke, when in doubt, just refresh initially, and then just check your data types and your resources and just remake the chart and see if that'll work.